when I was listening to our sister share about the camp, I think it's wonderful that the people that would want to and be concerned about children and want to see their edification and their blessing. But isn't it also at the same time a sad indictment against our culture? That God has to raise up people outside of the family, burden them, and give them a heart for young children because their parents don't have that heart. When I heard about that little boy given over to his grandparents, to be honest with you, it just makes me want to find that man and horsewhip him, because he's destroying a little boy. You see, I'm going to say something, and it's going to sound really hard. Sometimes I just think that some people should just be neutered. I wonder why on earth they have children. Why? And even some Christian fathers, or so-called Christian fathers, I wonder to myself, why did they ever get married? Because they don't seem to want to spend a lot of time with their wife or invest their life in their wife. And then with the children, God has to raise up another person to come in and try to bless the children, try to salvage the children. I am not against Sunday schools or youth getting together or all sorts of things and camps. My boys have certainly had a wonderful time at this camp. But when those things have to be done in order to replace a father, that's just a sad indictment against our culture. When you have to have women's groups in the church because the men are not discipling their own wives and pouring their lives into their own wives. When you have to have youth groups because men are not purposefully discipling their own children. When you have to have Sunday school because men are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. You know, folks, you can pray and pray and pray all day that the Spirit of God will fall down upon a place, but unless you're willing to obey the Word of God, He's not going to fall down on anything. He says, I'm not going to bless your sacrifice. He says, do what I told you to do with your wife. Do what I told you to do with your children. Then we'll talk. Then we'll talk. You see, Leonard Ravenhill said this one time, and if you find that I quote Leonard Ravenhill a lot, it's because I had a deep love for him. He was a rarity in our age and a rarity in his. He was a man of God. And he said, all these preachers wanting to find a new definition for Christianity. We don't need a new definition of Christianity. We need a new demonstration of Christianity. And do you know where that... Look, there's hardly anything more important in the Bible than Christ and His bride. Would you agree? Christ and His bride. Well, how did God choose to demonstrate what that was supposed to look like? Through a preacher? No. Through a man and his wife. Children and lost people ought to be able to look at a man and his wife and say, that's how Christ loves the church. I would love to be a part of that. They ought to look at the way a man cares for his children and say, is that the way God cares for His children? I would love to be a part of that. Just to show you how messed up we are, when you think of children and the care of children, you think of a woman. You think of woman's work. That's what women do. That's what my wife does. That is a damnable lie. It does not represent the fatherhood of God to His children, and that's what family's about. Marriage isn't created just to be marriage in itself. Everything that God has made has a purpose. That purpose is to represent who He is and what He does. So when He made a family, the mother is not supposed to be the center of it. The Father is supposed to be the center of it. And He acts as a father, representing God the Father, and He represents Christ as a husband. Oh, men, please, don't think of great moves of God and all these things if even the basic things we refuse to do.